Well folks, welcome back to the workshop. Today we got a wee Hitachi planer on for repair. This is the older Hitachi P20SF. Now it is an older Hitachi tool from 2013. Now it's only a budget sort of one, it wasn't a big expensive Hitachi planer, as you can tell from the green colour. That wasn't a proper dark Hitachi green, it's more of a lighter sort of colour. But this particular one, the P20SF, is still available today. It's just not called Hitachi, it's now called Hikoki. Hitachi used to be called Hitachi Hikoki. Still the same company, it's just they amalgamated the two names and they're now called Hikoki instead of Hitachi. So this one is obviously going to need a lead for a start because that's all damaged. Customer says it keeps changing depth on its own, so when it's running this knob is turning on its own and changing the height. Now I would imagine that's going to be for a very simple problem. We'll just check it here now. Yeah. Problem is actually bearings. It's making a lot of vibrations as well. The vibrations are actually causing this here to turn. Now like I say, this is only a cheaper Hitachi planer. Generally you go to the more expensive ones, you'll have some sort of detent on the knob, some wee spring or a spring and ball bearing with detents on here to lock this in position. But this one isn't all that expensive, so they're just working on friction to hold this in place. Problem with that is when they get a bad bearing, they start to vibrate, and the vibrations from the bearings then go through the whole machine, causing this to vibrate as well, to slowly turn. Now, I don't think there's much I can do with this. There's no detent on it, so she's just working on friction. But if we change the bearings, that should improve this here knob and stop it from moving. But we'll have a wee look and see if there's anything we can tighten up on it. So to fix her up, we're going to strip it fully down, change the bearings on it. We're going to strip it down completely and have we look at the rest of the machine as well while we're at it. Then we'll get her put back together again with new bearings and a new cable and get her running like new. First off, it's going to be the lead. Just get rid of that. Take out these two. Pull off this top cover. Then you can take the handle apart. One of the best things about Hitachi, or Hikoki as they're now called, is spare parts. They supply everything for these here machines. Every single little screw, clamp, bolt, switch, capacitor, everything's available, even down to the little wire connectors here. They sell you everything. Just crimped on. To cut that one off. Keep your grommet. And here the 13 amp plugs are actually moulded on to machines like this, so we have to replace the plug as well. But everything else in here is alright. Switch is okay. I'll not bother putting the lid on now, we'll leave that to last to make it easier to work with. And the actual depth. There's one knob. Actually, one side of the knob comes apart as well. So you can change the nut on its own. Don't have to go replacing the entire thing. Base then needs a bit of clean. Spring and the actual base, the foam insert. Just clean that as well, get rid of the sawdust. All the resin stuck on here, look. Just clean that down. A shoe on the bottom, 4 screws. You don't have to take these parts off when changing bearings or a lead. This is just to have a little look at it. So then, just the body of the machine, and an aluminium plate as your shoe, with a spring and a foot on the end of it. This little plastic foot is just to stop you hitting the actual blades when you put the machine down when it's still running. That's what we want. Actually on here, all planers are made basically the same. There's not much difference between them. They're all just a motor and a drum holding blades connected up with a belt. Started by a switch with a little bit of adjustment on here. They're all basically the same. The next thing is your belt. Now this is one of the main things I do feel in them, is the belt. Easy to take off. This one's a little bit of wear, but it's not gone yet. And there we can hear the problem. These two bearings are gone. These ones aren't as bad, but they're still not good. So we'll change them as well. Before we take the motor out, make sure you remove the brushes, because they will snag on the armature as it's coming out. Now, to take this one out, you have to take off this little dust shield, dust port. Just one screw. That's not that good a design of a dust port, so obviously it doesn't take everything out. You see the brushes are also getting covered in sawdust. I'm going to start causing them to stick. So clean them. There's just a bearing plate for this back bearing. It's just holding that in, or stopping it from moving out. And the motor and everything, and the drum all comes out as one. Now to get a grip on it all, screwdriver down here, give it a little twist, prise this up just enough. You slowly work your way around, prising all this up. It's worth noting, if you ever think your bearings are gone, especially in a planer like this, get them changed sooner rather than later. Because if you leave them too long, you're just going to destroy the housing. Now, there's your armature. This is the drum. Instead of here, all you've left is just your field, your brass holders for the brushes, and a few leads and your switch. The rest is just the plastic body of the machine, all one piece, and one other little plate up here for attaching a knob at the front. That's it. There's not much to it when it's all stripped down. Now, these are the bits we need. This top one is gone, you can hear it clicking. This bottom one's not gone, but it is getting stiff. These ones here are totally gone. Now the actual drum on this is actually quite decent. They're disposable blades, but they have big heavy steel retainers on it. nearly think they're the blades themselves. Plus this and the Hikoki actually come with two different types of blades. You can get them with the disposable blades or the original heavy steel blades, but most go with the disposable ones. Now to get both of these off, we have to remove the pulleys so we can take them out. Both of them are threaded on. One's a left hand thread and one's a right hand thread. But which is which? There we go. And that one's the main problem. And then this one, you can just get a flat piece of steel to lock it. Go the other way. And it all just pulls out. I'll fix it. We have 4 bearings to change. Now to get the bearings off, you can either use a set of splitters with a bearing press, which I'll probably have to use for that one and that one, because there's very little clearance, or you can use the splitters with the actual puller that comes along with them. Normally come with 2 bars come up and a puller that pushes down onto it, but I just use these on the bearing press, or a set of mini bearing pullers. These are what I generally use for most applications, as long as you can get the jaws on. Very quick and effective, so they are. So the first one is a 608, good old Hitachi. It's an NSK bearing. So more than likely all of these will be NSK bearings. Back one on the drum. .608 again. This time it's actually an SL, different brand. Always be careful when you're taking a bearing of a threaded shaft. Do not want to damage the threads. Damage these threads on the drum, you'll be replacing the drum, which is not a cheap part to replace. And obviously when your blades are still in your drum, make sure you don't slice yourself. Those particular ones are actually still pretty sharp. Next one is a 6200, again an SL brand. See if we can get this one. Might not have the clearance. Nah. Have to use the splitters for this one. And this last one, the 6200, and again it's an NSK bearing. At least use good ones on the motor itself. So 2 6200s and 2 608s. Before we fit them, we'll just clean all this down now. Get rid of all the sawdust and the resin built up as well. Get it ready to put back together. That's it all cleaned out. I'll just stick on the bearings. 608s on the back, 6200 up at the front. Now to press these on, what you want is a couple of sockets, 8mm for the bottom, I think it's 11 or 12mm for the top. You want it to go over the shaft, but to only rest on the inside wrist of the bearing. You don't want to press the seal nor the outside wrist, it's only the inside you can press on. Set them up. I'm just going to do the two at the same time. And that's it. Now obviously not everybody's going to have a bearing press at home, but these are only small bearings, so to put them on at home, just use the sockets the exact same way. Only pressing the inside wrists. Then take a hammer, yes I know, a hammer, and gently tap the socket repeatedly until you get the bearing to go on, only hitting the inside wrists. Not ideal, it's not a very professional way to do it, but it works fine for home repair. Now it's just a simple matter of rebuilding it. I'll start with the back plate. Now these should go on by hand, but if they don't and they're very tight, you can put a little bit of heat onto this aluminium housing to expand it enough to allow the bearings on. But they should go on easily by hand. It's just a wee wiggle and a shake. Same as this one. Keep them in then with the pulleys. These don't have to be on all that tight. Hand tight is fine. Because they're working on reverse threads, they'll self-tighten on their own. Just snug them up slightly. That's all you need. Drop on your air deflector. And press your drum and armature assembly back in. Tight squeeze, but it should go on by hand. And that's it. Should have a nice even seal all the way around with no gap. Both the drum and the armature should turn very freely. Now to refit this little leg or stop, make sure your spring is fitting inside of here, or one side of it, and the other side sticking out. Hook the outside piece onto the bottom of the aluminium plate, roll it forward and drop it on. and then that simply go straight onto the bottom. That's her. Now your front foot assembly. Spring simply drops on. Foam pad sits over the top. Drop your planer on top of it. A thread comes out the top. You have a washer over the top of the thread. Your knob on top of it. You can fit your belt back on. Simply roll it on. Make sure it's all the way on both sides. Running nice and even. You can stick your cover over the top of it. Again, you can go ahead and fit your brushes again. Just reuse the same ones. There's nothing wrong with them. You only need to replace the brushes when they're actually worn out. There's nothing left of them. I get a lot of people asking for brushes here in the shop, looking to replace them with their own tools. The first thing I have to ask them is, have you taken the old ones out? Everybody just assumes every problem is due to brushes. Brushes only need to be changed when they're gone. That particular set there hasn't even done an awful lot of work. That's basically still brand new. All the brushes are doing are transferring power from your switch onto your armature, and at the same time allowing the armature to spin on the brushes. They're only a connection point for the power to transfer, but they're consumable because the armature spinning on the brush. They're constantly being worn away. Just eventually you have to replace them when they wear away completely. This little plate just stops this bearing coming out too far. And the last thing on this side is the dust port. Now what you need to do is get a new cable and rewire this switch. Now what we need for the lead, a USB spade connector, a good quality 13 amp plug, a good rubberized one so it's more durable for a power tool, cable crimp for the neutral side, and then about a good quality cable. Try to fit some good quality cable, some nice rubberized stuff, because it's more pleasant to actually work with. Like a machine like this, it's 2-core cable, 1mm thick. This is actually H07 cable, 2x1mm. Measure up, make sure you're taking off of it. And remove the outer sheath any way you can. I just like to use a knife to get a nice round cut. Get all three together. Blue comes from the field, the black is going to your noise suppression capacitor, and the blue neutral coming from your lead. Crump them all together. That'll make them all one piece. There's the lathe that has a little spade connector. Instead of using this kind, you could use an insulated crump with the colour codes on it. Ones that just crush on. I just much prefer these ones here because they give a much better hold. The wire gets cramped on here, held tight, and the cable itself, the sheath, gets clamped at the back. So it gives a much better hold. That just gives a far better connection. More secure. Plus it takes up less space. And just leave it nice and neat like the other cable. Just going to put a little bit of heat shrink over the top. Now you just have to get all these wires squeezed on. Last thing is this little cable tidy for the machine. Last thing, top cover before putting these last two screws on. That's the planer itself done. And that's the lead. Just need to fit this plug. That's it. One Hitachi planer, P20SF, with all new bearings and a new cable and plug. Let's see what she sounds like now. Much better. No more vibrations, knob's not moving. It's running and sounding a lot smoother. That's how you strip a Hitachi planer, change the bearings and replace the lead. Doesn't matter what the planer, the process is just about the same. And sidewear doesn't look too bad actually. She's not the most expensive planer in the world. For the money, she ain't too bad. Good strong body on it, good setup on the motor. The drum carriers, clamps are very good on this. The main thing that lets it down is actually the depth adjustment. That's just not that great. It would be better if there's a wee detent, stop it moving like that, even if there was bad bearings. Now the cost of that repair, including the 4 bearings, the cable and the plug, plus a little bit of labour, costs €60 plus the VAT. A new one costs about €150, so 60 against 150 ain't too bad. It's well worth doing, or getting it repaired if your bearings go bad. And obviously if you're doing the work yourself, it's going to work out an awful lot cheaper. Anyway, that's her. Thanks for watching, folks. Give us a wee like and follow if you're enjoying the tool repair videos, and throw us a wee comment down the bottom if you have any questions. Cheers!